We're back, and we're continuing this really important conversation with a distinguished veteran of the United States Navy, now a candidate for the United States Congress. His name is Captain Hung Kao, United States Navy retired. Captain, you were giving us a short course on the challenges of making the defense institutions of our country, governmental and private, um, work together to assure that we have the kind of military capabilities that we need. It sounds like pretty much the kind of thing you used to do in the military. Missions impossible. How should we sort of reckon with the financial constraints and the budgeting difficulties in the Congress and beyond?
It's a simple solution. Just pass a 2-year defense budget. Like that, we can plan ahead and we can anticipate these changes and the mid-year marks. And it really helps out the defense industry. It helps out our innovation. It helps with research and development. I mean, we need hypersonic weapons. And for those that don't know, hypersonics are anything that goes above Mach 5. And we have one right now that we're working on called conventional prompt strike, which goes Mach 17. That means I can launch a missile from Washington, D.C., and it'll hit San Diego in 16 minutes.
Well, I
And
hope
that's what we
not.
need. Well, I
Something,
know.
someplace else would be better,
No, no.
obviously. But I take the point that these are high-speed weapons that we don't have any of in the inventory at the moment, and the Russians, the Chinese, even the North Koreans do. So this is a very important example of a shortfall that has to be addressed. Let me talk more generally, if I could, Captain Cow, with you about the challenges that the military is facing more generally. You're a recently retired veteran. You've had, as a result, experience working for this commander in chief, working within this administration, as I recall. And I'm anxious to get your sense of whether what I would characterize as a war against the military by our own government is having material and deleterious effects on morale, on the esprit de corps, the unit cohesion, the readiness, and therefore the deterrent capabilities of our armed forces. Talk us through that, if you would.
Yes. So, I mean, besides having ships that can't get underway, planes that can't fly, and submarines that can't dive, you also have a military that's becoming more woke, right? I mean, there a lot of our trainings now towards just the wokeness of the military and how
Critical
white
race
supremacy.
theory and
Yes,
the
sir.
like.
Exactly. And it's just wrong. I mean, we need to be preparing our men and women to fight the fight. I mean, when I'm in the trenches, in a foxhole, I don't care what the person next to me looks like. I just care that they can shoot straight, and that's all that we care about in combat. And unfortunately, when you have a commander in chief who got 5 deferments because of asthma for the Vietnam War, he doesn't understand what it's like to wear the cloth of our nation. And it's heartbreaking, right? I mean, besides that, also the largest purge of Christians out of the military is through this vaccine mandate. I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I just believe in the freedom of religion, and these thousands of soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guardsmen who are getting kicked out of military because their religious rights are being violated because they put in for religious exemptions are not being met. And it's hard. So you're getting hit by all sides. I mean, think about it. A person who wants to transition, because they go through psychotropic drugs, they can't carry a weapon for 2 years.
This
So in a
is
4-year
this is
enlistment, this person,
sexual transgender
yes, sir.
transitions you're talking about.
Right. So a person who wants to enlist and then decide, hey, I want to be a different sex now, and we have to pay for it. They're under psychotropic drugs where they can't carry or touch a weapon or deploy for 2 years. But yet, a military person who served 18 years honorably all of a sudden gets kicked out without retirement, without benefits to his family because they refuse to take a vaccine that they don't believe in.
This is a travesty. It really is, and it can only be corrosive for the only military that we have. And sadly, as we talk about on this program, as you know, Captain Cow, every day we're in a world in which that military has to be at peak fighting capability because well, hopefully it'll help deter conflict, but if not, it will be necessary to prevail in it. You are what I call a foreign born American patriot. Your experience, your life experience, has given you a sense of not only the character of this country and its uniqueness, its exceptional quality, but also how perishable freedom is. Take just a minute to talk a little bit about that because it informs everything I think you've done to date and that you're hoping to do. And also, I think the anguish that you clearly are expressing in your previous comments.
Yes, sir. So, the waking up one day and not having a flag to stand under or a country to call your own is a devastating feeling. And I swore to myself, my kids would never ever, go through that. And that's why I
And you
served,
had this
you know,
experience in your native
yes, sir.
Vietnam, South
Right.
Vietnam.
As a Vietnamese refugee, we came here with nothing, but just the United States took us in. It gave us this ladder of opportunity, but we still had to climb up ourselves, right? I mean, no one expects to be handed things for life. We did the hard work and we learned, and I paid back this country through my service, and that's why again my service is not over now. I'm looking at a different service, which is serving our country in Congress. But again, it's hard for our military. I mean, especially by a commander in chief who's never served and a chairman joint chief staff who wears makeup. We're just we are hamstrung by people who just don't love this country as much as we do. And I think it's time for some the foreign born, as you said, or immigrants to remind America how fragile freedom is.
Well, you are an exceptional example of that character. And it has, I know, been of great importance to our military to have people like you serving in it, including at the Naval Academy. And we appreciate your willingness to continue to serve in these other capacities. If you had the opportunity to speak to this commander in chief about the necessity of reversing some of these policies, what priorities would you assign to course corrections, sir?
The first thing is I have to remind him what Ronald Reagan said is America has never been attacked because we're too strong. It's only when we're weak. And the weakness is in these woke, ideologies and then just not funding the military properly. And we got to lower inflation because the inflation, like I said, is starting us with a $46 billion deficit.
Captain, we have to leave it at that. This is such important work. We look forward to talking with you further about it. Stay well. I thank the rest of you for listening and hope you'll do so again tomorrow. Same time, same station. Over and out.